Las Vegas has seen visitation drop steadily over last several months, according to new numbers from the LVCVA. With hotel occupancy and room rates slipping as well, many resorts have responded by dropping rates, but high resort fees and parking charges remain. And Caesars Entertainment being removed from the S&P 500. Visitors have questioned whether the Strip is still a value destination.
There was a time when Caesars Palace was Las Vegas. The marble halls, the high rollers, the name that meant you'd made it. But walk through it today, and you can feel it. Something's off. Empty tables where dealers used to smile, suites sitting unsold, a casino giant quietly losing its crown. Caesars Entertainment, once one of the most powerful names in Vegas, has just been kicked out of the S&P 500. That's not just a number on a chart. That's Wall Street saying, you're not one of the elite anymore. Revenues are slipping, rooms are sitting empty, and locals are whispering the same thing. Is Caesars the first domino to fall? This isn't just about one company. It's about what's happening to Las Vegas itself, and why the Strip is starting to look more like a ghost town than the city of dreams. Part 1. The Golden Years. Fall from Grace. When you think of Las Vegas in its prime, you think of Caesars. It wasn't just another resort, it was the resort. Every big event, every legendary fight, every story of excess and power somehow led back to those Roman columns. Frank Sinatra performed there. Evel Knievel crashed outside it. The biggest gamblers in the world would fly in on private jets just to lose millions in its marble hallways and brag about it later. For decades, Caesars symbolized everything Vegas promised: luxury, risk, and the illusion that you could buy your way into greatness, even if just for a weekend. It wasn't built to be affordable, it was built to impress. The myth of the Roman Empire, resurrected in the desert. You didn't come to Caesars to save money, you came to feel important. But like every empire, the cracks started quietly. At first, no one noticed. The same fountain still danced, the same chandeliers still sparkled. But the crowds started to change. Regular visitors, the ones who made Vegas their tradition, started to drift away. The drinks got smaller. The tables got tighter. The prices went up, but the magic went down. Back then, even during a national recession, Caesars wasn't slowing down. They were building bigger, flashier, louder, convinced that no matter how bad things got, people would always need an escape. Here's a clip from Caesars' CEO in the 1970s.
Felt any signs of the recession at all. I think that perhaps business has even increased due to the fact that people want to get away from their everyday problems and perhaps lose themselves in Las Vegas.
He believed Vegas would always be bulletproof, that no matter what the economy looked like, people would still come to forget. And for decades, he was right. But that same mindset, the idea that people will always pay for escape, might be the very thing that's finally breaking Caesars now. Then came the new competition, the shiny, ultra-modern resorts that made Caesars look almost nostalgic. The kind of places that weren't built for gamblers at all, but for influencers, billionaires, and corporate events. Caesars still had the history, but it started to feel like history was all it had left. By 2024, you could walk through the casino floor and sense it. That buzz, that energy that used to make your heart race, it was fading. The air felt heavy, the crowds quieter. You'd see employees standing around with nothing to do, waiting for players who never came. It's hard to believe now, but not long ago, Caesars was untouchable. Now, it's fighting to stay alive. And the numbers, they tell the real story.
Part 2. The Financial Spiral. You can't talk about Caesars' decline without talking about the numbers, because numbers don't lie. In the second quarter of 2025, Caesars' Las Vegas revenues dropped 3.7%. That might sound small, but when you're running multi-billion-dollar properties, that's tens of millions gone in a single quarter. Occupancy slipped too, roughly 27,000 fewer room nights sold. And then came the gut punch. On September 22nd, Caesars was officially removed from the S&P 500. That might not mean much to the average visitor, but inside the industry, it's like being kicked out of the Hall of Fame. It's Wall Street's way of saying you're no longer one of the big players. The investors pull out, the funds sell off, and suddenly your stock price starts falling like a roulette ball finding the wrong pocket. Caesars shares have dropped over 50% in 2 years. The company's still carrying around $12 billion in debt, a weight that's dragged behind every new project and grand expansion they've promised since the pandemic. They've sold off pieces of their empire, the World Series of Poker, the Link Promenade, trying to patch the holes in a ship that keeps taking on water. You talk to anyone who's worked the Strip long enough, and they'll tell you the same thing. The pressure's everywhere. Departments are cutting hours. Some locations whisper about layoffs. Behind the glossy PR headlines, there's fear. Fear that the once invincible Caesars is finally running out of luck. And yet, they keep doing what every Vegas casino does when times get tough. They double down. They throw deals at tourists. They start 5-day sales, offering half-price rooms, dining credits, and locals-only discounts, the kind of offers that used to mock. It's desperate, but in this city, desperation is the default. Because here's the truth. Vegas isn't built for stability. It's built on illusion. Every chandelier, every marble floor, every celebrity residency, it's all part of the same trick, making you believe the money will always flow. But when the economy tightens, when visitors dry up, when the high rollers stop coming, that illusion cracks fast. Caesars I.O. says they're expecting a soft third quarter. They're hoping conventions and big events will fill the gaps. But behind closed doors, the question everyone's asking is darker. What happens if they don't? If the rebound never comes? Because this isn't just a bad quarter. This is the kind of slow bleed that kills a company quietly over time. And if Caesars, the symbol of Vegas success, is showing weakness, then maybe the city itself isn't as bulletproof as it pretends to be.
Part 3. Vegas is changing. It's easy to blame Caesars alone, to say they got greedy, overexpanded, and misread the room. But the truth is, this isn't just about one casino. Something's changing across the entire city. Walk the Strip today, and you'll see it for yourself. The energy's different. It's not the wild, anything-goes playground it used to be. It's quieter, colder, almost corporate. The same city that once made middle-class tourists feel like royalty now makes them feel like intruders. Tourism's down, and not just a little. In 2025, visitor numbers fell sharply. June alone saw an 11% drop compared to the year before. That's hundreds of thousands of people who decided not to come. And who can blame them? Vegas has priced out the people who made it famous. The gamblers, the road trippers, the couples looking for a weekend escape. Now, every drink, every ticket, every room feels like it's been run through an algorithm designed to squeeze out one more dollar. Dynamic pricing means your room might cost double what it did last weekend. A beer can run you $15, a burger, $25. And that's before you get hit with the resort fee, which at Caesars properties has climbed past $50 a night. $50 just to use the gym and Wi-Fi. It's the kind of nickel and diming that used to be a joke. Now it's standard practice. People are noticing. They're canceling trips, cutting stays short, or heading somewhere cheaper. They're tired of feeling like walking wallets. Vegas used to sell fantasy. Now it sells inconvenience at a premium price. Then there's the economy. Consumer confidence has dipped across the country, and the biggest feeder market, California, has been hit especially hard. When Californians stop driving in, Vegas feels it immediately. The Strip depends on that weekend traffic. The ones who drive 5 hours, blow a few $100, and go home with stories to tell. When they stay home, the city slows down. And if you think international visitors are picking up the slack, think again. Canadian tourism's down, European travelers are rarer, and Asian markets still haven't fully returned. Those high-spending guests who used to fill luxury suites are staying closer to home or gambling online.
That's another shift nobody likes to talk about: the rise of online casinos and mobile betting. For decades, Vegas had a monopoly on the thrill of gambling. You wanted flashing lights and spinning reels? You had to come here. Now, it's on your phone. And the younger generation, the one that Vegas needs to survive, doesn't see the point in flying across the country to do what they can do from their couch. Vegas is being eaten alive by its own success. It's a city built to adapt, but lately every adaptation feels like a compromise. More nightclubs, fewer table games. More influencer packages, fewer comped drinks. More branding, less soul. Locals feel it too. Ask anyone who's lived here long enough, and they'll tell you the Strip doesn't feel like home anymore. It feels like a gated playground for the ultra-rich, the kind of place where locals aren't welcome unless they're serving drinks or parking cars. The old Vegas, the one that knew how to make everyone feel like a somebody, is fading fast. And if Caesars is struggling now, it's not because the building changed, it's because the audience did. Vegas stopped listening to the people who made it matter, and the ones who still come are starting to wonder if it's even worth it anymore.
Part 4. Inside Caesars. Numbers can tell you what's happening, but if you really want to understand what's going on inside Caesars, you have to talk to the people who work there. They'll tell you the lights are still on, the music still plays, but something in the air has changed. One bartender I talked to said the nights just feel different now. He's been behind the counter for 15 years, long enough to see the highs, the crashes, the reopenings. He told me, "You used to hear laughter at the bar all night. Now you hear silence between orders." He said it's not that people stopped coming, it's that the ones who do come don't stay long. They order one drink, scroll their phone, and head back upstairs before midnight. A cocktail server said the same thing, that her section used to buzz with energy, and now whole rows of tables sit empty on a Friday night. She said, "We used to run to keep up. Now we stand around pretending to wipe clean glasses." It's a strange thing, watching the excitement fade from a place that once felt eternal. Even the dealers feel it. One told me she's never seen so many slow nights in her career. Whole pits closed, tables dark, managers pacing like they're waiting for something to happen. She said she used to love the sound of the chips, that rhythm of constant play. But lately, the casino feels hollow, like it's running on memory. Guests feel it too. A man from Chicago told me he brought his wife here every spring for 15 years straight. Same hotel, same routine. He said this year was different. The room was smaller, the service slower, the atmosphere colder. He told me, "It's like they don't want us here anymore, unless we're spending 10 grand a night." That's not the Vegas he remembers, and it's not the one most people fell in love with. You can sense that tension everywhere. The employees trying to stay upbeat, the guests trying to convince themselves it's still worth it, the company pretending everything's fine. But deep down, everyone knows what's happening. Caesars is chasing a customer who might not even exist anymore. The ultra-rich whale who doesn't blink at a $1,000 dinner. The problem is, you can only build so many golden suites before you run out of ordinary people to fill the rest. Vegas used to be about possibility. Anyone could walk in, take a chance, and feel like a king for a night. Now, it feels like you need a black card just to breathe the same air. And if you talk to the workers, the ones who've poured drinks, dealt cards, cleaned rooms, smiled for tips, they'll tell you exactly what's wrong, even if they whisper it. Vegas forgot who it's for.
Part 5. The desperation moves. When the walls start closing in, every casino in Vegas reacts the same way. They smile wider. They throw out deals. They pretend the ship isn't sinking. Caesars is no different. In the last few months, they've rolled out a wave of promotions, flash sales, package deals, locals-only discounts, all under the same glossy message. Vegas is back. But anyone paying attention knows it's not confidence driving those sales. It's fear. The company launched what they called the Fabulous 5-Day Sale. For a few days, they slashed hotel prices, bundled in dining credits, and offered 2-for-1 show tickets. It was meant to feel like a celebration,
a reward for loyal guests. But behind the scenes, insiders knew it was a test, a desperate way to see if people could still be coaxed back with a coupon code. They've even started offering discounts to locals again, the same people they ignored for years when times were good. Restaurant deals, spa credits, comped parking. It's almost funny how fast they remembered the locals once the tourists stopped coming. A pit boss I talked to said it best. Caesars used to chase whales. Now we're fishing for minnows. He said management keeps using words like agility and resilience, but everyone on the floor knows what it really means. They're bleeding and they're trying to stop it before the investors notice. The promotions might fill some rooms for now, but discounts don't fix perception. And perception is everything in Las Vegas. If people start believing Caesars has lost its shine, it doesn't matter how low the rates go, the magic's gone. Because this city runs on illusion. Once the illusion cracks, it's nearly impossible to put back together. And no sale, no coupon, no 2-for-1 buffet can rebuild a feeling. That's the quiet truth about what's happening behind the marble pillars. They're not innovating anymore. They're improvising. And when a place like Caesars starts acting out of desperation, you have to ask the question nobody wants to say out loud. What do they know that we don't?
Part 6. What insiders won't admit. If you talk to people inside the company, really talk to them, you'll notice something strange. No one ever says collapse. They use safer words. Restructure. Optimize. Strategic realignment. Corporate phrase is meant to sound calm when everyone can feel the tension vibrating underneath. But behind those polished statements, there's a fear that's hard to hide. The fear that Caesars isn't just struggling, it's being positioned for something bigger. Something nobody's willing to say out loud. Because in Vegas, the game isn't just played on the casino floor. It's played in boardrooms, in quiet dinners with investors, in phone calls that never make the news. And lately, those calls have been happening a lot. Rumors swirl about mergers, acquisitions, strategic partnerships, industry talk for the same thing, survival. Maybe a deal with another resort group, maybe a sell-off of more properties, maybe something even more drastic. You won't see that in a press release. You'll only feel it on the ground. Budget cuts that don't get announced, projects that quietly disappear, departments suddenly consolidated. These are the little warning lights that flicker before a company starts changing hands. It's not the first time either. Caesars has a long history of playing financial roulette, massive expansions, even bigger debts, then selling off pieces of itself to stay afloat. Every few years, it reinvents the illusion that everything's fine. But the people who've worked here long enough, they know when the cards are bad. A former casino host told me something I can't shake. Vegas doesn't go bankrupt, it just changes ownership. And maybe that's what's coming again. A quiet reset, a passing of the torch from one corporate empire to another. If that happens, most people won't even notice. The signs will stay lit, the fountains will still dance, and the dealers will still smile. But the soul behind it, the people who built it, the ones who believed in it, they'll know. They'll know that another piece of old Vegas just died. Not with an explosion or a scandal, but with a press release. And maybe that's what's really killing this city. Not the tourists, not the economy, but the way corporate Vegas quietly erases its own past, one acquisition at a time.
Part 7. The future of the Strip. The Strip has always reinvented itself. That's what makes Las Vegas, Las Vegas. Old casinos fall, new ones rise, and the city keeps pretending it's immortal. But every time that cycle repeats, a little more of the old Vegas disappears. The one built on personality and risk, replaced by algorithms and shareholder reports. When people say, Vegas isn't the same, they're right. It's not supposed to be. But lately, it's starting to feel like the soul that built this city, the hustlers, the dreamers, the misfits, has been replaced by something colder, safer, predictable. If you look at the skyline now, You'll see billions of dollars in LED screens, influencer-branded nightclubs, and entire resorts designed more for Instagram than for gambling. And maybe that's fine. Maybe that's the evolution. But somewhere between the fountains and the neon, Vegas traded its charm for polish, its risk for routine. Caesars used to represent the dream, the idea that you could walk in with nothing and leave with a story you'd never forget. But now, it's a reminder that even the biggest names can fall. That no empire, no matter how glittering, is immune to time. Still, there's something poetic about it. This city was born out of dust and desperation, and every time it looks like it's dying, it finds a way to reinvent itself again. Maybe that's what'll happen now. Maybe Caesars will come back stronger, or maybe someone else will build something new on its ashes. Either way, the Strip will keep glowing. It always does. But for those of us who've watched it change, who remember what it used to feel like, the sound, the smell, the heartbeat, we'll always know what was lost along the way.
Every casino in this city tells a story. Caesars was supposed to be the one that never ended, a monument to power, luxury, and the illusion that Vegas could outlast anything. But even legends fall, sometimes quietly, sometimes all at once. What's happening to Caesars isn't just a financial dip, it's a warning, a sign that even the giants of the Strip are built on sand. And if this can happen to them, who's next? Because behind the neon, the glamour, the noise, there are cracks forming everywhere. Hotels slashing staff, resorts selling off assets, entire sections of the Strip sitting half empty on a Saturday night. And yet, the billboards still promise the same thing: the party never ends. But maybe it already has. Maybe in the long run, Vegas isn't always going to be empty. Perhaps it isn't actually dying. It's transforming, and not everyone's going to survive the transformation.